Hello, and welcome to being an IFSTA interactive learner. Today we are going to explore the tools you as a student can use to make the most of the interactive instructional approach IFSTA curriculum offers to the Fire and Emergency Services training classroom. According to educational research, attention span for adult learners ranges from 10 to 25 minutes. After that amount of time, learners need a change in focus in the classroom in order to maintain active learning. Because normal training sessions last much longer than this range, the IFSTA curriculum is designed to help create a partnership between instructor and student so that they learn from each other through discussion and activities in addition to traditional lecture. This video will explore the 3 steps students can take to help create that partnership. The first step is to come to class prepared. The best way to be prepared is to read any material assigned by your instructor before your class begins. This includes also reviewing any skill sheets before coming to class to become familiar with the steps, equipment, and key terms you need to understand the skill. Students should also participate in discussion boards and complete outside assignments before coming to class. If your instructor does not assign any outside assignments such as a workbook or other activities, you can use the IFSTA shop at shop.ifsta.org to find these resources on your own. The second step you can take to be an interactive learner is to actively participate in the classroom. IFSTA curriculum is built on strategies that help instructors incorporate interactivity, but it is your responsibility to participate in those strategies by answering questions in class, participating in discussion boards, and seeking clarification for any new ideas you do not fully understand. The third step you can take to be an interactive learner is to use note-taking strategies that benefit you. The PowerPoint presentations created for IFSTA curriculum use a graphically based format that allows you the opportunity to understand and retain the information you are learning. The PowerPoint is prepared to identify important content for students by using a title sentence that identifies the main idea of the slide. Then slide content reinforces and summarizes the information taught by the instructor. Your instructor will use the content on the slide as a cue to what information should be taught. You should use the main idea identified on the slide to help you focus your note-taking. The following is an example of how to take notes using this graphic-based format.
Identify types of emergency scene lighting equipment. Emergency scene lighting equipment is required at all incidents that occur at night or in low light conditions, inside structures where normal lighting may not be available, whether it be during a fire, after the fire, during search and rescue. This equipment includes lights, electrical generators, auxiliary electrical equipment. First of all, electrical generators. The electrical generators power the emergency scene lighting and also may power the portable rescue equipment. This is the most common power source used by emergency service personnel today. Portable electric generators are powered by small gasoline or diesel engines. They have 110 or 220 volt capacity outlets. Most of these portable generators are light enough to be carried by 2 emergency personnel. Very useful when vehicle mounted systems are not available. Vehicle mounted generators. The vehicle mounted generators produce more power than the portable units. These are again powered by gasoline or diesel. Some of these are also powered by propane engines or hydraulic or maybe even power takeoff systems. Typically, they have 110 and 220 volt outlets. They also produce more than 50 kilowatts of power. Some of the disadvantages of using portable generators. They're very noisy. If they have their own separate engine, they make communications very difficult. They will run more than 90 decibels, so you'll have to use protective hearing devices. The exhaust fumes may contaminate the scene if the vehicle is not positioned downwind, or your firefighters are working in close proximity to these generators. Apparatus electrical systems. The apparatus electrical systems used for small amounts of power needed to operate the lights and tools. These do not have as much power as what the portable or the vehicle mounted apparatuses have. They usually convert 12 or 20 volt direct current into 110 or 220 volt alternating current. The advantages is they're very fuel efficient with minimal noise because you're using the apparatus engine to operate these. The disadvantages are the constant apparatus exhaust, the limited power supply, and the limited mobility because of the fixed apparatus being at the scene. Lighting equipment. Two different categories. Portable lights used in buildings, interiors, or remote areas of scenes, used in the building's interiors, either during the fire or after the fire. After the fire, looking for extension, also during mop-up. Could be used in remote areas such as during automobile accidents or extrications that you may need lighting for. These range from 300 to 1,000 watts. Typical have carrying handles and also large bases for stability. The large bases are very handy when working off of a hard surface. You may be able to set these on inclines also, and they will help steady the light. Some of these are mounted on telescopic stands, which allows them to be raised and directed more effectively. Fixed lights mounted on the vehicles. These are mounted on the vehicles, wired directly to the vehicle generator or the apparatus electrical system. They're used to provide overall lighting for a scene, usually mounted on telescoping poles, can be raised, lowered, rotated to where the scene is. Some consist of large banks of lights mounted on hydraulic operated booms. These generally have a capacity of 500 to 1,500 watts per light. A number of these units mounted on apparatus are only limited by the amount of power produced by the vehicle-mounted generator or apparatus electrical systems. A caution: never connect more lights than the power source can support. Overtaxing the power supply or the power source could result in poor lighting, possible damage to the lights, the generator, or the electrical system. It may also restrict the operation of other tools being used by the same power source. So if you're using electrical extrication equipment from the same power source, you may not get as much power from the electrical extrication equipment. Auxiliary electrical equipment. This may consist of electrical cables, extension cords, receptacles, connectors, junction boxes, adapters. All of these will have ground fault circuit interrupters or GFCI devices on those. These must be waterproof, safe, and designed for the amount of electrical current intended for them to carry. Depending on your electrical cords, the lower the rating of the electrical cord, the lower the wire gauge is, the more electric can be used or carried by this equipment. So you need to remember that depending on what type of cord you're using to how much electric you'll be able to use at the end of it. Electrical cables and extension cords can only carry a limited amount. Do not use the equipment whose power demands exceeds the cord's capabilities. Do not use electrical equipment on a power cord that's going to demand more power than the cord can give you. This will create electrical hazards, can damage the equipment that you're using, damage the wire. The wire can get hot that you're using and can cause shorts. These electrical cables can be stored in coils or on portable cord reels. Some may even be carried on the apparatus mounted on automatic rewind reels. These should also have adequate insulation with no wires exposed. If you have wires that are exposed, you need to turn them in, tag it, put it out of service, either have it fixed or replaced. Twist lock receptacles and connectors equipped with grounding wires provide secure, safe connection as long as they're not immersed in wire. With the twist lock receptacles, that way you won't have to worry so much as the firefighters are walking around on the scene. If they trip over a cord, then they won't pull the cord from the receptacle if a twist lock receptacle and connector are used. Junction boxes. These junction boxes provide for multiple outlets or connectors supplied through one inlet from the power source. That way that you can use this junction box to equip maybe different lighting and or power equipment that you may need for extrication. All outlets must be equipped with ground fault circuit interrupter devices which meet the requirements of NFPA 70E. Adapter connections used to permit different types of plugs and receptacles to be connected together. There again, if you use different types of adapter connections, make sure that all parts are there. A lot of people will take maybe the ground off of some of these. Make sure that you always have a ground when working with this type of equipment to keep you from being electrocuted while using these electrical equipment. This will also allow mutual aid departments to operate electrical lights and tools off of each other's generators and power sources. This may also allow the fire department lights and tools to be plugged in to any standard electrical outlets at the structure. So, what type of emergency scene lighting equipment can be used for vehicle extrication and technical rescue incidents?
Generators.
Generators. Your duties include using lighting equipment of all types while at emergency scene. So what types of equipment may you need to use?
Lights. This new style of presentation allows you to make more choices about what information is retained in your notes. The interaction required by this classroom strategy gives you a better chance to retain information in your long-term memory. Being prepared for class, actively participating, and taking effective notes all work to provide this interaction as a part of the training classroom. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about your role in an interactive classroom. We know these tips will be useful for your learning experience and hope you will replay this video as needed to use your IFSTA curriculum to your best advantage. As always, IFSTA is proud to be the leading fire service training provider.